Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back to Pop Culture Podcast, episode 65. Disclaimer for the previous episodes if you've noticed. I'm Adrian.
I'm Jay.
And along with us, a friend of the show and our very first sponsor, Frugal Brutal.
Gentlemen, pleasure.
Nice to have you on. And today we'll be drinking Black Raven's Coco Jones. So there's a story as to why we have this beer, and we'll get into it after we drink. Coco Jones is a coconut porter. You love porter.
I do.
You love coconut.
Very true.
But ow!
You know what I don't love, though?
Coconut porter?
Coconut in general.
You're going to be fine.
It's alright. It's not going to be the worst thing I've had on this show.
No, what I wanted to have... we'll get into it after we try the Coco Jones.
Okay. I have a fun alcohol story to tell you guys, too, at some point.
Well, I feel like all alcohol stories should be fun.
No, yeah.
At some point, do you mean off air?
Well, no, I guess you're pouring on it.
I'm pouring. Go ahead. Go for it.
So I went and checked out a new distillery last night.
All right.
I don't know if you heard of Copperworks Distillery.
Mm.
Okay. So for those of you local Seattle or in town this weekend for the Comic-Con, you need to know this. So it's Copperworks Distillery. It's down on Alaskan Way on the waterfront in Seattle. They make vodka, gin, and whiskey.
All things I like.
I
Great.
can feel one of those.
Now tell me how you start any of those. What is your main grain in any of those?
It depends, really. Like, you can do a bunch of different things.
Sure. Now would you believe malted barley?
Nope.
Oh, wow.
So they take beer starters and then turn it into your whiskey, your vodka, or your gin.
Interesting.
So they've actually partnered with a couple different breweries in the past. Right now they're using Elysian, and they're using Elysian's just their standard IPA malted barley grain.
Okay.
And then they turn that into liquor.
How was it?
So all they have for tasting right now is the vodka and then 2 types of gin. The vodka was really good. You definitely got the barley taste in there. Gin I'm not a huge fan of, so they're plain gin. I was like, all right, whatever. But the other one they do is a gin that's aged for a short amount of time in a whiskey barrel.
Ooh.
So they call it new barrel gin. So you get a lot of the smoky charcoal from the whiskey barrel. And it was delicious.
Are they selling those in bottle yet? Like, can you buy
those
some to
are in
take
bottle now. Their whiskey won't be ready until like September because they're doing a 2.5-year age process on it.
What's the price point for it? Do you remember? 30s, 40s?
I know the whiskey is $49 plus tax.
It's a little steep.
It is. So I haven't tried that. I think
Artisan
the other
whiskey,
ones-
I mean, come on.
Yeah. But you can go do a tour of their place and get a sample menu for like $10.
Nice.
So
We got time tomorrow before the show.
Salud, gentlemen. Dynamite.
So we have Dynamite.
all I'm tasting is coconut. So
Yeah.
it's like maybe M80, not a full stick of dynamite.
I've only had this one other time, and I got it in a 22 bomber.
Okay,
Not as strong as a coconut flavor.
sure. This is straight out of a tap.
This is straight out of the tap.
Yeah.
I actually quite enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's to say about the flavor, Papa? It tastes like coconuts a lot. So, it's very
It
good.
is. The reason I went to Black Raven though was to get Kitty Cat Blues. So
Just saying its name.
I kind of some backstory. I bought a bottle of it specifically for Jay and I at the WrestleMania.
Oh yes.
It is no apologies, but it is a pale ale, a high quality pale ale that's brewed with blueberries and catnip.
What?
Yeah.
So apparently the catnip makes it have an incredibly smooth, soft finish. And I drank the 22 in a sitting by myself because it was fucking delightful.
Okay.
And as soon as you said, hey, it turns out the brewery's closed, I had my growler with me, and I was literally like half a block from Black Raven. So I was
Okay.
like, nope, I got it, don't worry.
Okay.
So I go in. They don't open until 3 o'clock. I get there at like 2:40 something.
Sure.
I'm like, it's worth 20 minutes. You know, I got a cell phone, I got some comics to read, so I did that. Walk in, set the growler down, kitty cat blues. I'm all out. Oh. And literally she looks at the board, she goes, erases it, comes back. What can I get you? Like, oh my God. All right, I'll take Coco Jones. So there are some bottles left. So Frugal and I picked one up and drank it before you got here.
Oh, nice.
And your thoughts?
Unbelievably delicious.
Really?
Like I can barely put it into words. You just taste one drink, and it's that catnip because it's a flavor that's wholly different than anything you've had before in a beer, right? Like you've never had beer with catnip. Obviously, nobody has. And to say it mellows out the beer is a complete understatement. Literally, you drink it, the beer is fantastic, delicious, and then it's just gone from your palate. So it's a delicious pale ale.
Okay.
But all the hoppy, the aftertaste of a pale ale, which is delicious if you like pale ale, it's just gone. It just disappears like it was never in your mouth. It
sounds
incredible.
like the best idea ever.
That sounds
It is.
Yeah.
It's really great. I mean, it's delightful. I mean, it's the expression on my face. It said it all when I literally took one drink. Like that. And I mean, it was just like... Yeah.
So the Whole Foods right down the road has a case left.
Okay.
So I will pick one up for us to have next week.
Okay, nice.
So that way we can have one.
Okay. I was super disappointed when I realized Cloudburst wasn't open.
One day we're gonna try Cloudburst.
I know.
In fact, I think after I drank that beer, one of my remarks was that this is worth checking in luggage to do. Like, I'm gonna go buy a bunch, check it in, and fly home with it, and just have it at home.
I mean, you only have about 6 weeks till those are no longer good.
Well, I only have a few days. I'm only gonna be here a few days, but yeah.
No, I meant when you fly home, you got 6 weeks to drink them.
I think I can handle that. I think I can handle that. Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the meat of things. Some TV, comic book, a little bit of news. Start with your TV, Jay.
So I think I mentioned this on the show last week. If not, I definitely mentioned it to you. I've done this thing now where I'm not watching an entire run of a show. I'll watch a season and then I'll move on to the next thing and then I'll rotate through. So for this week, I watched first season of Entourage because I'm like 8 years behind on that.
Okay.
First season of Downton Abbey.
Oh,
right?
no.
I know, it's weird.
No.
It's weird. And then I started the first season of The Newsroom. I'm like 3 episodes into that.
That's supposed to be very good.
The first episode of that was really good.
Okay.
Because that's the clip that everybody's seen. Have you seen this clip? Do you know what I'm talking
Is
about?
that who's in that show? Is it Bill Pullman?
No.
Somebody like that, though.
Jeff Daniels?
Jeff Daniels.
Yeah.
Okay. The clip where he's talking at the college, he's talking about how America's not the greatest country in the world anymore.
No, I've
Oh, you haven't seen that? Okay. It was going around a couple years ago when it first premiered. He just goes on this whole tirade of how, like, in all of these major points, America's, like, in the bottom, like, 3rd percentile of all this stuff. And he's like, so no, America's not the greatest country anymore. But he's, like, a national news anchor. So all of a sudden, all this shit blows up. Like, his show's about to get canceled, and he has to bring it back to relevance and stuff like that. So it's good. I don't think it's as good as that one clip makes it out to be.
Right.
But it's definitely good. And then caught up on Legends tomorrow.
Ooh.
I know.
So I hear that they're bringing in Booster Gold.
Well, they've been talking about that for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they made the announcement they're introducing a new character.
Yeah.
So, rumor is Booster Gold. For those of you who aren't familiar, Booster Gold is Rip's dad.
Right.
So.
I also heard they're going to bring in Jonah Hex.
Yeah, that's been confirmed.
Yeah, so I watched that. I watched Flash, and then I'm like 2 episodes behind on Walking Dead, but I'm catching up on that one. That's it for me for TV.
So I'm going to touch on a couple things you said, and then we'll kind of discuss what I've been watching. Have you seen the spoiler for Arrow? Which character is dying at the season finale?
No.
Do you care if you get spoiled? I don't think you did. You don't watch it. You don't care.
No.
They're killing the Black Canary. So the executive producers released a press statement, super upset at people, and essentially they're like, you're ruining television by taking photos of sets and releasing it in this, and so they were really irritated. So they released the image. You see the headstone. It's obviously photos from paparazzi on set, people attending the funeral, all the characters, and the tombstone is the Black Canary, Diana, Laurel, whatever.
Laurel Lance.
Yeah. So we're losing her.
All right, that's fine.
Right? Like, she's kind of meh character
Yeah, pretty
anyways to
much.
the
She
show.
wasn't likable in the television show?
No.
Not really.
That's unfortunate. Black Canary's a great character.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, they've done 2 different versions of her on the show.
They did
too.
and then the first Black Canary then became White Canary, and then her sister became the new Black Canary. Like, this show is just... His sister is Speedy. So, Oliver's sister in season 1 was a drug addict, an alcoholic, and a minor still in high school.
Right.
Come season 2, she's the superhero Speedy. Like, just everything about the show is
It
just...
happened really quick.
It's really, yeah. They're developing things way too quickly, and it's not getting the payoff it should. It's all just falling flat.
Yeah.
So, Arrow's been a bit of a bummer.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
Speaking of bummers, 11/22/63.
Did not live up to the hype.
So herein lies the problem. I really enjoyed all the first 7 episodes and the first 40 minutes of episode 8.
Okay.
The last 20 minutes fell really flat for me. Really flat for me. Because they broke their own rules of time travel. So in episode 1, we learned that you go through this portal, and anything you do stays in effect until you come back through the portal. It resets everything.
Right.
Which actually doesn't make sense, because in the first episode, he goes through the portal, carves into a tree, comes back, and it's there. Like directly after he tells him, you come through and gets reversed. But then other times he's come through and things get reversed. So it's like when we want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So he officially stops the assassination. He comes back through the portal, and America's a nuclear wasteland.
Okay.
So then he goes back through the portal again and decides not to change anything. Comes back, and everything's back to normal. So it's really... Unfortunately, they created their own paradox. Much like the Terminator paradox, where how can he send back his own father to create him if he wasn't in the past in the first place?
Right. Right.
So they create a horrible paradox, and the whole thing ends with him missing the girl he fell in love with when he went back in time and going to see her as an old woman and spending her last moments with her.
Okay.
So the whole thing was about stopping the assassination of Kennedy, and this girl was very much a B part, and suddenly she was the integral very last end to it. So in the end, it wasn't so much about stopping Kennedy as it was just a glorified love story.
Like most of those stories are.
Damn it, Stephen King. I expected better from you.
Have either of you read the book?
No.
Does it have pictures?
There's probably one wrapped around the outside of it, but outside that, no, I don't.
So there's
think
no comic book form like The Stand?
I don't believe so.
Then no, I
Dark
haven't read
Tower,
it. No. If you'd like to read it and give us a report, I will totally read it on air, take a voice cut from you.
Perhaps I will do that, but I've been on a comic book kick for at least like a year plus now, so I've been reading many novels either. I keep buying them, and my bookshelf is getting larger and larger, but I'm not reading any of them.
Yeah, people say that every now and then they'll come in my room and be like, have you read all these books? No.
Yeah.
Why do you keep buying them? I'm going to get around to it.
Yeah.
I'm going to get around to it.
I'm waiting for like Armageddon to strike, like the EMP goes out. I'm not going to fucking work. I'm locking my door, loading my gun. I'm just going to start reading my books until somebody comes and takes me. That's it. Somebody's going to see I have food, and then it's done. And that's cool.
We've seen this Twilight Zone episode, though. Your glasses are going to fall off, and now you're screwed. You can't
Henry
read
Bemis,
shit.
that's right.
Some other things I watched. Bob's Burgers, which is this season is just getting stronger and stronger. It's great. Last Man on Earth.
I can't believe you watched that show still.
It remains very meh. Which is very meh.
So just stop.
You know I can't do that.
I know you can't, because I have the same problem.
With that said, the next point I was going to make, there is a show we've officially stopped.
Oh.
We have let videos now expire on our queue from Hulu.
Okay.
Oh man, I'm getting scared here.
Right?
Bones.
All right.
I don't know why you guys getting. Yeah, I don't know why you're all surprised by
I
that.
thought you stopped that a year ago.
No, it was on break a year ago.
Oh.
It came.
They got back together.
I was hoping it was not going to be renewed for season 10,
Sure.
so I could finally have a clean break.
Right.
But no, it got renewed,
Oh.
and we tried to watch it. We watched like the first 4 of this season, and then they had the Sleepy Hollow crossover, and nope, tapped out.
Oh.
Couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't do it anymore.
Okay.
So Bones has been canceled. And then the last thing I watched that kind of is a big hit is WrestleMania 32.
Whoa.
Largest WrestleMania in attendance. Over 100,000 people there.
That's unbelievable.
Right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, the average ticket price was $500.
Wow.
Bam! Can you imagine?
That is crazy.
Because at a certain point, you're so high up, it's just ants. Yeah. It's just ants. You're watching it on the screens there.
You just got your phone in front of you with the WWE app, and you're like, I'm just watching it here.
Well, so here's the craziest thing. It was at the Dallas Cowboy Stadium.
Okay.
So they had that huge TV that stretches from, I think it's the 20-yard line to the 20-yard line.
Okay.
So you all just, like, if you're not close enough to see it, you're just watching it on TV. The same thing you do at home. Instead, you just have to, deal with loud chants and people booing, and that is kind of part of the fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, going to a wrestling live event is one of the coolest things you can do to see live. I mean, it's just so different, and it's so interesting that when you watch wrestling, I used to be huge in wrestling. I haven't watched wrestling in a long time because it's a really big time commitment. There's so many hours, and you want to keep up with the stories or whatever. But what's always interesting when you go see the live events is the people you think are the small people on TV are huge, and the huge people are fucking huge. They're just these monsters. You're like, oh my god, I thought you were the small one. He's just like, hey, I'm huge. Like Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
We were watching Raw earlier today, the post WrestleMania Raw, and Chris Jericho is one of those guys you think is really tiny. The guy's fucking huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
And it's crazy when you see people that eclipse even the big guys, and they're like 7'3". You're like, oh my, you're 7'3", 355 pounds. Like that's disgusting, right?
It's disgusting.
Like, what do you eat for breakfast besides the cow?
Right. Yeah.
So WrestleMania actually was a lot of fun to actually sit down and watch the whole thing.
Did you watch all 3 days?
I did all 3 days of WrestleMania, and it got rough. It got real rough. So day one was NXT, the minor league stuff. Mm. The main event was really good, and then it got bad. Because what happened was somebody actually got a serious injury.
Oh.
He got a headbutt wrong right by his eye. Not a big deal, but he was bleeding a lot to the point where the medics continually stopped the fight to try to stop the bleeding. So it kind of took it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, you're like, just call the match then.
Right.
Like, clearly this guy cannot. Mm-hmm. But the medics kind of were clearing him, but would not leave his side. So every time he was down on the ground, they're like, okay, patch up the blood. And then it stopped, and then it kind of... Once the blood stopped, they're like, just do the finisher and end the match.
Yeah.
Just do the finisher and end the match. Which is fine, because I enjoyed the headline. The Hall of Fame was the hardest thing to watch. Like, it was rough, dude. Really rough. Huh. Why are you making that face?
Because I'm trying to think of why it would be rough.
So, let's take the first entrance was Stan the Lariat Hansen, right?
Somebody,
old timer.
Super old timer.
So they have someone introduce him, which was Van Vader.
Oh,
the reason they had Vader introduce him is because in one of their original matches, he actually dislocated Vader's eye out of socket.
Oh,
they had to put it back in, and that's why if you ever notice Vader's eye is really funny, and he wears that weird mask, that's why. Because the lariat took his eye out.
It's funny you say that because I was going to bring up another story when you talked about the injury. There's a famous one with Captain Lou Albano. Do you remember him from like the old days?
I remember,
He has a story where his eyeball popped out. He popped it back in on the ring, and then he realized that his hair was behind his eyeball. And so he had to pull it out like this, and he could feel it behind his eyeball pulling his hair out. Yeah.
No, because those old timers are hardcore. Like, people have lost ears, and like they have all the scars from the razor stuff. So someone introduces him to the Hall of Fame, and that's a 10-minute speech. He gets up and gives like a half-hour, 40-minute long, like, hey, I remember this time, and... But some of these guys are so old, it's like listening to your grandfather, who's not all there, tell you a story from back when.
Sure.
Like, at a certain point, you're like, what are you even saying anymore? The Freebirds went on for 45 minutes talking about story. The Hall of Fame was almost...
Wasn't that as long as they were in the league?
So, like, for 5 inductees, it was 3.5 hours. Like, that is... It hurt. It hurt.
See, what I think they might be doing is they may be running out of those classic characters that we all know and love, so they're bringing out these people. But if the average wrestling fan is, let's say, my age, 36 to 40, they don't know who this guy is. It's these people who we've never known. Nobody's ever known these people. So
the inductees were Stan Hansen, the Fabulous Freebirds,
I know them,
Jacqueline.
Oh,
wow,
yeah.
okay.
And She was inducted by the Dudley Boys. The celebrity entrance was Snoop Dogg. Because he does a lot. He did a lot of stuff with wrestling in the 90s.
Okay.
And his cousin's one of the champions.
Okay.
Sasha Banks.
All right.
And the Warrior Award went to Joan London for beating cancer and all that kind of stuff. And then the headliner for the Hall of Fame was Sting.
Right.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was Sting.
You saw him like without the makeup on and everything like that.
And the last thing he said while he was there, during accepting his Hall of Fame, was retiring. So Sting retired.
Yeah.
See, that is big news, and that's a big Hall of Fame inductee.
Well, he's only had 2 WWE matches ever.
Oh, wow. So it's basically a Hall of Fame for wrestling, period, almost.
Well, you got to think. WWE bought WCW. They bought ECW. They bought all these other companies. So they are inducting like WCW people as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when they inducted Sting, they went from the blonde hair all the way through
to the Crow,
to the Joker version, and then the final version in WWE. So
he ended his career in the WWE?
Yep.
I did not know that.
Yeah, his first match was WrestleMania last year against Triple H, and then he fought Seth Rollins like a couple weeks later on Raw. And he got injured during that match, and he hasn't been cleared since. And he retired.
This wrestling talk is dangerous. It makes me want to start watching it real bad.
Yeah.
Triple H and Sting, man, I'd love to see that.
So actually, the way the fight ended is NWO came out to back up Sting.
Oh, killing me.
DX showed up to back up Triple
H.
And they went at it. They went. Someone got the Razor's Edge. Someone got like it was like.
Man.
So, and the thing about it is like, all these things happen. I'm like, meh. But my buddy's a promoter, so he's sending me all the like pictures of the stuff as it's happening, and I'm like, I want to watch it. I want to watch. Like, what are you doing to me? So yeah, so WrestleMania was a lot of fun. Minus the headline was the worst match.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
It was so bad that people were leaving WrestleMania early.
Oh.
They were audibly booing, like nobody enjoyed it. Like I showed you.
Yeah.
People were booing the signs. Like no, not a fan. Not a fan.
That's pretty bad. Yeah.
So that is TV for me. You don't do TV, huh?
I don't do TV very much. TV and I don't have a great relationship. And it's interesting because I usually don't do TV because I'm intimidated by how many episodes of something there are. Like binge TV is what I do now. I don't have cable, so if I want to watch TV, it's got to be on Hulu or Netflix or whatever. And then I'll start watching something. I'll be like, man, there are 3 more seasons of this. Like, this is a lot of time I got to devote.
You know what helps manage that?
Spreadsheets. Spreadsheets.
Isn't that just more daunting though?
No.
Flip to the next tab. Oh man.
So, but what I want to say, so I've been going and watching like some episodes of shows, and they're just fucking terrible. It's all stupid. I can't watch any of it. And so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try and binge watch something. I'm going to binge watch the show that I never got through, that I've always wanted to. I'm going to go back and hit Battlestar Galactica.
Oh.
And I watched all 4 seasons of Battlestar Galactica.
Of the new version.
Oh, yeah, of course the new version. And man, that show is just fucking mind-blowing. It's
right?
so good. I wish I'd watched earlier, and now it's giving me, like... Now I think I can do this with, like, Game of Thrones and The Walking Dead. Like, I'm just going to start...
What? Not The Walking Dead.
Why?
It is bad and boring.
The first, 2 seasons are alright.
That's true. It gets bad.
But yeah, because I was about to say, the last time you and I hung out, we were watching The Walking Dead with you and your wife.
Yeah. Even she's tapped out.
So here's the problem, though. You're going to watch those first 2 seasons.
And it's going to be rad.
And you're going to be like, I only got 4 more seasons and I'm caught up. And then you get, halfway through season 3, I'm like, well, I'm already halfway
I'm already
through.
halfway
I need to keep
here.
going.
All right.
Yeah. I still watch it because I've watched it all.
All right.
The question, though, is if you're binging, why not binge on Daredevil and Jessica Jones?
Because I don't really have Netflix. I have to rely on going to other people's houses. I'm a Hulu man. I watch the Hulu.
Okay.
And then we talked about watching a television show that you and Jessica decided you didn't want to watch anymore. I thought you were going to go with the one guilty pleasure I do watch every week, and I hate myself for doing it every week, which is iZombie. Which is the show that you guys got me onto.
You guys are still watching that?
Dude, it's so terrible, too. It's embarrassingly bad. I'm still watching the show.
I refuse to start it because I I knew that's what it was gonna be.
Veronica Mars meets zombies. How are you not? That is the tagline.
I've never watched Veronica Mars, so I didn't have that pull.
Let me get you another way.
No.
Kristen Bell plus zombies.
Kristen Bell's not in this.
I mean, that's the only part about
If
Veronica
she
Mars
was,
that
I'd
matters,
be
right?
watching it. But
Well, that's one of the reasons I started watching this show is because the young lady who plays the lead, whose name I can't recall off the top of my head, she's going to be at the con.
Yeah.
And she's very attractive, and she's got like that pasty, like super pasty hair, the undead look, which for like a heavy metal motherfucker like me is like, yeah, that is what I'm going for.
oh, jeez.
So I do ask, seriously though, you binged Battlestar, did you watch Caprica?
Oh, no, I was
No,
going to bring it up.
I-
Do not fucking do it. That is a horrible show.
Okay. I just remember it being fun. I'm like, eh.
Oh.
I didn't love it, I didn't hate it, but I never watched Battlestar. I only saw Caprica.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man.
That's why. So, having seen Battlestar, I
Yes.
suggest you avoid Caprica at all
Okay, I
costs.
will.
Because it's just...
Well, all right, noted. I will not watch Caprica.
Okay.
On the flip side, you need to watch Rick and Morty season 2.
That I do have to watch. I did love the first season of Rick and Morty. In
yeah.
fact, I think it was me who
It
turned
was.
you
It
on
was.
Rick and Morty. Yeah.
I will say though, season 2 ends and you're just like, it ends on such a cliffhanger. You're like, fuck. Season 3 is a year away, and at the point when season 2 ended, it was a year and a half away, and you're just like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? I thought maybe the comic would bridge it. I thought maybe I could get some closure somewhere. No.
All right.
So be
I haven't
prepared for
watched
that.
it.
Like when you finish it, you're just gonna be like, fuck you. Like, damn it.
All right.
I still think about it. I wake up at night just sweating, hoping season 3 is out. All right, so TV. Any movies?
I have not watched any movies this week.
I haven't watched any movies. The most recent film I've seen is the one that you guys talked about last week, which is Cloverfield.
Cloverfield.
Yeah, Cloverfield Lane.
Okay. I don't think we talked about that.
No, you and I have not talked about it.
What did you think?
Fantastic. I thought it was a great film. I know your argument that it's not related to Cloverfield
Correct.
at all, and you're right. It was a total promotional bit. It does not matter because, A, I do love the idea of bringing back that old school... I'm trying to think of the word that they were using to tie them together. Like, they're only loosely related, like some crazy same universe type films.
Right.
I like that because as a fan of old sci-fi and old pulp books, that was something that was done, so I like that. John Goodman does
he
a
fucking
fantastic job
Killed it.
as the lead of that film. Your skin crawls. He is so creepy, and it's not creepy in like a over-the-top way. It's just his mannerisms, the way he would look to the side, the way he would cock his head. It just made the hairs on your end stand up. It's just a great film. And the end, I thought I mean, spoiler alert, the creature at the end that you said was like a metallic dog or something, I thought that was cool. The ship that was alive with the tentacles and the octopus beak thing, I mean, it was great.
So I'm not like the dog was cool and like John Goodman. It's just I went in expecting a large monster movie because the Cloverfield title.
But it was made very plain before that film came out that Clovey was not going to be in it, that the name change came very late in the game.
But and people have said that, but I try to avoid everything before a movie because I don't want to go in with that.
Well, that's my point, because you are way more into pop culture stuff than I am, and I fucking knew about it. And
Because
you
I
didn't.
intentionally avoided Cloverfield news because I wanted to go in just Cloverfield blind.
So,
Okay.
Same way
are
with
you
Batman.
able to detach from the other movie?
Yeah, like totally. Like I'll be honest, like in that movie in itself, like I said, had that been called 10 Adams Lane, 10 whatever, I'd be like, that movie was fucking awesome.
It was originally called The Cellar, I believe, was its original name.
Would have been dope. So somebody had told me though, and I did not verify this, I'm taking him at his hipster word. But that in the original movie, Cloverfield was the military call sign for anything extraterrestrial. If that's true, then
That's pretty cool.
in this
yeah.
movie it would make sense.
Yeah.
But I don't remember, and I haven't had a chance to watch the original Cloverfield. But no, in its essence, it had been called The Cellar. Yeah, oh yeah, movie hands down is
Okay.
dope, great, for sure. I also tried to watch a movie and I could not finish it. Yeah, I tried to watch Macbeth, starring Michael Fassbender.
Oh.
It looked great. Like the set was great, the costumes were good, the action scenes were good, the acting was good.
Okay.
But they kept the original Shakespeare dialogue and script. and it just didn't mesh well. Like, it was off. You didn't the words that they were saying didn't quite sound right coming from those actors.
Okay.
You could tell they weren't comfortable in what they were saying. Like, and at a certain point, you're like, I be the son of a condor? Like, you're just like, you were not delivering it for me. Shakespeare in itself is sometimes hard to understand. And it's even harder to understand with people with heavy accents that are difficult to understand if they're speaking English. So imagine Jason Statham. No, that's a bad example. But someone heavily accented trying to do Shakespeare that they're uncomfortable with.
Sure.
So, like, the action scenes and visually, everything else was spot on, but the dialogue was a miss for me.
Okay.
And it's just because of the way that people delivered it. It had nothing to do with, it wasn't one of those Shakespeare films where, like, the scene is modern, but they're using the old-timey language.
No, like, it all took place back in, like, he was, like, Macbeth's swords. They were out in the aisles, dirty. Like, no, it was a period piece, for sure.
All right.
Are you thinking, like, the Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah.
Oh, I was totally down on that movie last time I saw it. I thought it was great.
I haven't seen it since I was in high school in the 90s. I don't know.
Yeah, same here. That is the last time I saw it.
I don't know if it holds up, but...
Hey, anytime John Leguizamo falls to his knees shooting with guns in the air, quoting Shakespeare, I'm in.
Gold guns, no less.
See?
Golden guns.
See?
Yep.
Like a motherfucking Bond villain. All right. I believe you have something to do now. Or is now not the time?
There's a couple things. One thing I would like to talk about that you guys don't often talk about in the show is music as a part of pop culture.
I actually do have a new CD I can talk about. Go
All
for
right,
it.
cool. Well, I've been to a couple shows over the course of the last 7 days. The last one is the one I want to talk about. I saw a band called Mac Sabbath. And Mac Sabbath...
Please tell me this is like a
No,
Mac 10 Black Sabbath hip-hop like
it's
merge.
better than that, my friend. It is a McDonald's Land characters theme parody cover band of Black Sabbath. Where...
Was Grimace involved? Was Grimace
Yes.
involved? Oh my god!
Not as just Grimace. So there's a man dressed up in an evil Grimace, with tongue hanging out, evil eyes, top hat, playing the bass guitar in a huge Grimace costume. Another one who looks like Mayor McCheese with Motorhead tusks sticking out.
Oh my god.
Called Slayer McCheese on guitar. And a Ronald McDonald looking like classic Ozzy Osbourne in a Ronald McDonald jumpsuit with the long streamers hanging down with a cross instead of the McDonald's and corpse paint on his face instead of the traditional Ronald McDonald makeup.
That is freaking amazing.
And then they just do, and the cover songs, it's basically a cover band because they just switch the lyrics around. So instead of Iron Man, it's frying pan. Instead of fairies wear boots, it's cherries aren't
So they're
fruits.
Weird Al in it?
Kind of. And so what makes it rad is you're watching this show, and these people in costume are playing, and they have like decapitated Ronald McDonald statue heads with laser beams shooting out the eyes and smoke coming out. And you know all the songs because they're all Black Sabbath, so you just know the words. So everybody's rocking out like crazy, and it's just this crazy spectacle. It was, I can't remember the last show that I enjoyed that much. I can't remember. That show was so great, and the opening band was a local band. I'm from Phoenix. Called Oakley Dokley, which was a Ned Flanders themed metal band. And they all got up on stage with mustaches, glasses, and sweaters over polos. And it was so great. Oakley Dokley, Mac Sabbath. Check them out. Mac Sabbath tours nationally.
I was going to ask, are they a
were
national tour?
They were the last. We were the last stop on their last tour, but they were a touring band. They toured the country. Go see them.
I don't want to talk about my CD now. That's like I don't know. Oh man, all I did was listen to the new Weezer album. Essentially, the new Weezer album was like all the other Weezer albums. Like, there's nothing special about it. There's nothing good about it.
Whoa, wait, hold up.
This was the worst Weezer album I've ever heard.
Oh.
And I liked their last one.
Yeah.
The last one was good. Came out in 2014. The problem with the White Album is the music was awesome. Like, the instrumentals, the feel of the album was great. The lyrics were really bad.
Okay.
Really bad. Like, I expect quirky, kind of fun music from Weezer, and the lyrics to be a little different. These ones, it just fell so flat for me. If you listen to the title song, California Kids, you're like, man, this song is catchy. I love the instrumentals. Like, it's a lot of fun. Then you listen to the lyrics, you're like, this is dumb. Yeah, really disappointed with it.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Maybe if the motherfucker dressed like Ronald McDonald while singing it, I might like it a little bit more. But he didn't.
I don't know. They still convince you to buy a piece of plastic to put lasers.
Oh, I didn't actually buy it. No.
Oh.
No.
Oh, you didn't buy the
no,
physical
it's on,
CD?
It's on Spotify.
Okay, good. I'm
No.
fine with that.
Weezer's
As long
not
as-
one of the bands whose CDs I need to own. I may have bought...
Is there any bands whose CDs you need to own?
Oh, yeah, there's plenty. Like, when their new album drops, I buy the CD. You know this. Don't act like this is news to you.
And it's funny
No.
because I was about to say this is something I agree with Adrian on. I still buy physical CDs too sometimes. Just sometimes.
I will buy records. I will not buy CDs.
See, now that's interesting. Why would you buy a record instead of a CD? Do you have a record player?
I do.
Okay, and you just, what is it about? Just something about the warm tones that come out of a record player?
I just like the experience of putting a record on rather than a CD.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. Because I obviously if I'm buying a record, I'm not buying it because it's a high fidelity sound.
Right.
And CDs are kind of in that middle ground where it's like you either buy like that really tinny record or you go and you get like a higher bit rate digital. Like why am I wouldn't go buy a VHS.
But I buy DVDs and Blu-rays.
Sure.
So, which brings me actually to an interesting topic. Barnes & Noble has announced they are canceling the Nook. Not just the device itself, but the Nook store.
Okay.
So if you bought all those books on your Nook through the Nook store and the Barnes & Noble digital copies, they're getting rid of all of that. What happens to... And therein lies my issue with digital comics.
Mm-hmm.
You do not own it, you're leasing it.
Hold on a second. You're talking about only specific formats of digital comics. Like, I buy a lot of digital comics, but the ones I get, I make sure I can get in PDF format so I can save them. If you're correct, if they're like connected to the Comixology app,
Sure.
and I can't download a digital copy, I will not buy them.
Well, and even a lot of the stuff in Comixology now does have DRM-free copies that
right.
you can download.
And those
Yeah.
are the ones I'll buy.
Right.
But if they don't, I won't buy them.
So then here comes my question. Why? Why not just make them all PDFs or DRM free? What's the hesitation?
Piracy. To
But-
counter piracy.
Are you really countering that much piracy, though? I can go to Pirate Bay right now and get everything I fucking want.
Well, that's true, and that's an argument. But but you asked the reasoning why, and that's why the publishers don't do it.
That's the best option they
Sure.
have currently.
No,
it's not foolproof, but
I
that's the best
understand.
option.
But, and therein lies my argument of, well, then, if I don't actually own it, if there's not a copy I can't take with me as I please, I'm not paying you the same price.
And sure, and I've talked about that. I think, I think the price point currently on a lot of digital media outside of like the iTunes model for 99 cents a song, I think it is overpriced.
Well, 99 cents a song is overpriced. If you can get the whole album for $7 and there's 13 tracks, that's clearly overpriced.
I don't actually buy music through iTunes.
Sure.
I don't know what it is.
I think 99 cents is the going
Yeah.
rate.
99
But I mean, like
cents is the going
with
rate.
a lot of the digital comics that I buy for $1.99, there's not ads in them.
No,
So that's the offset there.
I
You're-
agree.
you're
I agree
paying-
with the
so
ads,
there's
sure.
that. If there was a version where I could get it with ads for a third of that price, I'd be going with that.
Sure.
Because I can flip through another slide, no big deal. But I think that's kind of their thing is how do we make up for the lost ad revenue?
Not only that, but I almost wonder whether if they discounted heavily the digital format, what it would do to their print business.
Oh, it'd go.
Right.
Because, I mean, like, the people that are in rural areas that even don't have access to a
Sure.
comic store that make a trip into town once a
Or
month
do
or whatever,
subscription
or something
services.
like that. Well, now I don't need to do any of that. Now I've got it all here on my iPad or my whatever.
Definitely not like there are arguments for both ways, like, which is why I think things like Marvel Unlimited are such a great idea. You just pay $5-6 a month. I don't remember the exact price. You just get to read whatever Marvel books they have available.
Right.
And they have a great selection, but nothing within the past year is kind of their rule.
Right.
Which hit or miss. But like as far as ads are concerned, in my single issues, I don't even see them anymore.
Right.
Like they're just not
but
there
they're,
anymore.
They're paying for the
Oh,
paper
yeah.
and the
No,
ink and
I
the
agree.
mailing and all that. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right.
no, I get it. But so I just thought it was interesting that a company even that has a Barnes and Noble would be like, we're closing down our digital store.
Right.
Yeah, that's a real bummer. You got to be really selective with the electronic devices you buy. I mean, we're already at that stage where you only have a couple of choices, really, because this is some of the ramifications of choosing one of the lesser known products. Is that the support simply goes away? It's just not there anymore. You have an iPad, you have a Kindle. I mean, everything else is nothing.
Sure. Well, look what happened with the Nest, the thermostat control company. So in my house, I have a Nest and a Nest Protect. It's a digital thermostat. I can control my phone and everything else. It tells me there's carbon monoxide. There's somebody in my house. It does all that kind of cool stuff for me. They bought 2 other companies that did similar things and then closed those companies. So if you had those products, they no longer work.
Mm-hmm.
You're now screwed.
Yeah.
Sorry for buying different. So now you're like, wait, I just spent hundreds of dollars on this thing. And now you're telling me, no, even though it was a great product and worked fine? Yep, pretty much. Which just doesn't sit well with me. Like, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Well, this is why you need to not be so quick to buy these, all the new tech gadgets or what have you. You have to like make sure that there's going to be some sort of longevity to it, because otherwise it's the kind of thing that happens.
Sure, but it's like you don't know what other company's going to buy it.
That's true. I guess you never know what's going to happen in the future.
Like American Airlines is buying Virgin Mobile. Who would ever thought that was going to happen?
American Airlines is buying Virgin Mobile.
No,
Alaska Airlines.
Alaska Airlines is buying Virgin
America
Airlines.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes more sense. They're buying a phone company?
Right?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I was thinking about 2 different things, but
Yeah,
yeah, for $2 billion, like
Right.
I would never thought that was going to happen. So like you wouldn't know Nest was going to buy another company.
Oh, yeah.
Like when Lenovo and IBM thing happened.
Well, Lenovo is IBM. I don't think they're 2 separate companies.
They were.
ever.
They were at one point, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I just always thought they were one and the same. The Lenovo was just a...
Consumer brand.
Yeah, or just a hipper name than IBM because you associate IBM with old computers.
No. Or you have Toyota's stopping the Scion production line.
Oh, are they?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I had not heard
They're
that. Wow.
ending Scion, and they're going to fold some of them in under the Toyota name, and other ones are just done.
Oh,
Well, the
okay.
whole reason they started Scion was to appeal to the youth market.
Correct.
And it was essentially just an entire research arm.
Mhm.
And now you look at a lot of the new Toyota cars, and they're the sporty versions of the cars that they were kind of before making inside.
Oh,
So now
yeah,
it's
sure.
like,
If you look at the new
like,
Corollas.
Yeah.
Which
Like-
is, I was about to say, you have the new
Yeah,
Corolla.
I have the new
Mhm.
Corolla. It
Yep.
looks a lot more attractive to a younger buyer than the one you saw in like 2000 that my grandma would drive.
Sure.
So they're like, well, it was a successful research thing. Now we're just gonna put it all into one.
Put it all into the fold. But GM did the same thing with Saturn. Like
Yep.
the Saturn vehicles were incredibly popular, and they just stopped making them, but folded them into Pontiac, GMC, and Chevy.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Anyways,
that's his movies. Move on to comics.
okay,
So I have a question for you.
sure.
Emerald City Comic Con starts tomorrow.
Oh shit, is that tomorrow?
It is tomorrow.
Oh,
My question for you though is about tonight's Image Expo.
yeah.
What news do you know coming from the Image Expo, if anything?
Really, the only thing I saw, and this is not even comic related, is the Creators for Creators Foundation that they set up.
Okay, tell me about it.
Okay, so Image Comics and Iron Horse Comics, I think it is, got together. It's something I've never heard of. Got together and they made this thing called Creators for Creators, where it's actually a foundation to help support future creators get educated and mentored and get into the industry. And one of the big things they're doing is actually a $30,000 grant that'll go to one person a year to help them put together their own graphic novel and get published and stuff like that. And they said they have that whoever does that has the freedom to publish with whoever they want, just because they're getting the money from Image and Iron Horse doesn't mean they have to publish with them. And they're also going to find participants to match up with mentors in the industry. It's going to bring them up to a level where they could actually go out and get published.
So we should start writing comic books, is what I'm hearing.
I already have like 3 scripts since I read
Okay.
that this morning.
Dope, because I have a buddy of mine who actually wants me to start writing a comic book for him to draw.
Nice.
So we're just gonna do this
Fantastic.
now. All right, good.
I'm going to dig out all my old scripts from high school. They used to write in class instead of paying
Right?
attention.
Yeah.
All right.
But that is literally the only thing I saw. I had a pretty
Okay.
busy day at work.
Well, I know there was some new titles that dropped. I know, like they announced Cameron Stewart and Babs Tower what they were doing for Image and all this other stuff.
Another book that I don't want to read.
Probably.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've been busy and I just haven't had time to read all the Image Expo news. So I was like, Jay might know. If not, we'll address it next week with all the Emerald City Comic Con
I
news.
think that we'll lump that all together.
I have a feeling.
Okay.
Okay. In which case, what is on your pull list this week?
So the things I read this week were Power Rangers number 2.
Kyle Higgins will be attending Emerald City Comic Con.
Yeah, he will. Uncanny X-Men number 6.
Beginning of the Apocalypse Wars.
Sure. Green Lantern 51.
I'm sorry.
I know. I'm actually. It's bad that I'm excited that this book is resetting in another month.
However, Vendetti is still going to write Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps.
I know. Did you read the book, or you just
51?
Yeah.
Not yet,
Okay.
no.
Did you read 50?
Yes.
Where he turns like the weird
Yeah.
he's pure will energy now.
Got it. Shows up with the brother at the end.
Yeah.
Why does everything end with creatures of pure energy? It just seems like that's just one of the ultimate routes that every science fiction storyline goes to, being a pure energy.
Yeah.
Well, now you just spoiled the dark side for me.
So then I read Suiciders Volume 1, which I'd read the first 2 or 3 issues of.
Oh, sure.
And this collected all 6 of them, so I read that. And then I read The Fix, #1.
Oh, did you really?
I did.
And?
It was the favorite thing that I read this week.
Interesting. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
So it's written by Nick Spencer,
Yep.
who wrote Morning Glories, which I loved.
Yes, he also is kind of spearheading the Captain America in Marvel Comics.
Right.
Yeah, right.
So it's a story about these 2 cops. Well, it's mainly about one cop and his partner. And the guy tells a story about how when he was younger, he knew that he wanted to grow up and become a cop because they got to break the rules more than the criminals do and get away with it.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's now a detective in LA or something like that, and him and his partner are also criminals because they can get away with it. So like he tells a story about how they go into this nursing home to try to steal a bunch of money from an old guy. And it kind of goes wrong, but they get away with some money, and they come back a half hour later as the investigating detectives into the crime, dressed the same, and they're like one of the guys is wearing like a very unique flower print shirt.
Yeah, he has the floral.
So he's like, oh, did the guy have any like unique clothes on or anything that kind of stands out? Was he about my partner's height? Maybe about the same size as my partner? It's totally getting into it. But they were doing this robbery because they owe somebody money.
Okay. Because the fix is in.
Right. So they found this guy who's a screenwriter who options real life stories as movies. So they're working with this guy. They get money for an option, and then they'll go blow it betting on battle bots. Right? So it shows them going to do it the first time, and they lose all their money. Like, we're idiots. So you would think we'd learn our lesson, and the next page, nope, we spent more money and lost again betting against the same battle bot. So they have to go meet with the mob boss that they actually owe money to, and it's this guy who owns like an organic juice shop, and he's all super hippie and like naturalist and gluten free and all that, but he's also a complete sociopath. So like you'll see one panel of him like at the farmer's market being like, are these locally grown? And then the next panel is like him popping some guy's eyeball out. And it's just that and that and that. And so it's super entertaining.
Okay.
That sounds
I
like
wanna
a
check it
great
out.
read.
Wanna
That
check it
sounds
out.
right up my alley.
And then at the end of the book you find out like their big nemesis they have to get past is a drug sniffing dog at the airport named Pretzels.
That's awesome.
Seems
So-
very Ennis-esque.
Super hilarious. I'm actually really excited for issue 2 to come out.
Okay. Surprisingly, like, our shop did not get many shelf copies. Only 2 guys had it on their pull because it was like,
It's very under the radar.
which is crazy because it was on the cover of the previews when it was solicited.
Oh, really?
And yes, nobody pushed it. That's
Crazy.
So I'll want to pick that up. Do you have any books that you know you're getting this week? I know you're a trade guy.
Yeah, I kind of want to talk about that. So with ECCC coming up, I've only been catching up on indie trades that I bought over at shows, and I know they're going to be at ECCC, so I want to talk to them about the books.
Yeah.
So I read a couple trades. I read Somnambulist books 1 and 2 by Christina Major. It's just a published trade of a webcomic.
Okay.
And that's exactly what it is. It's a webcomic. But maybe she's pretty talented, so hopefully she grows and advances or whatever. And I read Squarriors Volume 1 from Devil's Due
That's
first.
good.
And that was very good. It was very Mrs. Bisbee and the Rats of Nim. Very secret of Nim, except brutal and with political espionage and traitors and whatever. It was very good, very brutal. But the one I read that I liked the most, and so much that it's like one of my new modern favorites, is Rainbow in the Dark by Comfort Love and Adam Withers. And I bought the complete saga trilogy. The art is phenomenal. It's colorful. Well, there's a contrast because like the protagonist, the antagonist, one is very colorful and one is very dark, and it's very present in the art. It's just one of those books. It's a wholly independent book. They did it themselves and like with their friends and their students, and the production level embarrasses the larger publishing companies. It's just spectacular. The book is the story itself is a tale that's been told a lot of times, the typical savior thing, very Matrix-esque or whatever. But just the art, and you can just totally tell it's a labor of love. And at the end of the trade, there's like at least 20 pages of just stuff breaking down all the characters, where they got the ideas from, the various endings they went through. They went through the whole process. They even give credits to all the people that most books don't give credits to. I just thought it was a really good book, and I'm looking forward to seeing them tomorrow over the course of the next few days.
Was it a closed story, or are you looking forward to more?
It was a closed story, beginning to end. And it's funny because after the third issue, it reaches an end, and this is where most comics would stop. Like, this is an ending, and it'd be a good comic. But no, it goes for, I think, like at least 5 more issues, and then it just wraps up into a better ending. It's just really well done.
Wow.
I think everybody should go read it. It's really good.
So what was it called again?
Rainbow in the Dark. Comfort, Love, and Adam Withers. Mm-hmm.
Okay. No, and I do like stories that are very much like, here's our plotted course. Here's our beginning. Here's our end. And this is what it is. Like, I'm not going to try to extend it out because it's popular or you want me to, or the publishers are like, this is it. This is my whole story. Read it and enjoy it as is.
A lot of the worst stories I've read in the last couple of years are ones that did have that finite ending and then got popular.
Sure.
And they're like, oh, we'll tack on another 85 issues.
Yep,
I'm like,
exactly.
what? No.
Mm-hmm.
God is Dead. God is Dead. The first 6 issues were great. It's on like issue 60 now.
Do you think that has more to do with Hickman's popularity too? I mean,
he's not writing it anymore.
oh, he's not.
No, he only read the first
6 issues.
Yeah,
the first 6 issues.
and then his co-writer Mike Costa took over from there.
Which-
And I think part of the problem too is it was a bi-monthly book, so now you're paying $3.99 for this book twice a month. It's really not even that good, but it just keeps coming out. And now there's like a spin-off. There's like a secondary series. And I'm like,
And Costa's really hit or miss for me. Like, he's written some really fun things I really like, and other things I'm like, this is bad, man.
Yeah.
So I can see that being painful.
It's funny you bring up what issues I have coming up, because I told you, but Jay doesn't know, is that recently I broke up with my comic book shop.
Oh.
Because, listen, I know, and this is bad, and when I was a younger man, the kind of person I am now was the person I despised. The trade guy. That guy who only buys trades. But this is what's happened. So, over the course of the year, I would buy comics, and I love buying the comics, and I love putting them in bags and boards. But I hate reading individual comics. I can't stand it. I hate it. These floppy, tiny, skinny little things, and I read them, and I'm done in like 7 minutes, and I want to go get another one, and I got to go flop through my box to go get one instead of reach to the bookshelf and pull it out. But
So I solved that problem. I don't bag and board mine, and I just put them all on a bookshelf.
You are more of a God.
don't they just slide off the shelf? I mean,
No.
His shelf actually bows. I've seen it. It bows in the middle.
It does. Yeah, it does. But it's fine.
I get what you're saying. Because it's a problem I just had with Marvel, right? Like, I was waiting for the trade and then the price difference. It's easy to just have the trade, read the whole trade, enjoy it, and you're done.
right.
But collecting, it scratches that itch I have.
Oh, I understand. And the collecting is a part I totally got. But when it came time to reading it, I hated it.
So,
hated it.
May I give you an option?
I mean, yeah, you're free to...
I don't know if you've noticed, next to my coffee table, there's a short box there.
Okay.
Okay? Because there are some books, as soon as I get it, I read. Dark Side War is a book, as soon as I get it, I read. Batman Beyond, though, I read in 6-issue blocks, as if it were a trade. Because I don't need to read it right away, but I like to collect it, I like to have the single issue. So what happens is when those 6 issues are done, I will then sit down and read all 6 issues at once.
But don't you have fear of, like, skipping a book or just completely ignoring the stack because out of sight, out of mind or something? Like, when I look on the bookshelf for something I'm going to read, I see everything there in front of me. If I have this stack of, like, books, what happens is I buy more stuff than I have time to read. So the stack is just going to keep growing and growing and growing. And there's never going to be a reminder of me to go back and read this book because it's not on my shelf. It's going to go in the long box in my closet and it's going to vanish forever.
That's why that short box is next to my coffee table. Because every time I get my comic books, I file them away. And then as soon as I see Batman Beyond has reached 6 issues, I pull it out, I set it on my coffee table. So next time I come down and read comic books, there's that stack of those 6 issues. It's time for me to read them all. And then they go in the comic room and get put away.
Well, maybe I'll give that a whirl because you told me earlier today that my comic book shop was really good to me, and I didn't really
Oh my
notice.
God, they are losing money. 20% off all your purchases and free bags and boards.
Yeah. I mean, figures, statues, the books, everything, 20% off.
That's really good, yeah.
Well, I dumped them.
You want to know what the discount
Like
is
that,
at
like
my
the
shop?
hot bitch.
I want a bag, baby. I want a bag.
Exactly.
Can I give her a shot? You guys broke up, right? She's free
Exactly.
game. I can get into this.
Yep, exactly.
Unbelievable.
My shop gives 0 discount, even for
Wow.
box holders.
Yep.
And I've been there 12 years.
All right, so on my hands and knees, I'm going back. Is
Yeah,
that what's
that's
happening?
You buy KY and apologize.
Yeah.
Like our shop's 10% off your comics and your trades. That is it. That's it. The other option you can do to also make the reading 6 issues at a time easier is buy Silver Age bags and then just put them in there. So when all 6 are there, it's all in that one bag. And then when you're done, then bag and board them and put them
This
away.
sounds like a lot of work, Jay. I don't know how to do this.
Bagging and boarding is a lot of work in itself.
No.
I mean,
my God. It's so therapeutic.
I'm thinking, like,
it's cathartic. It
do you know-
feels
do
good.
you know how
Maybe
much-
it just breaks down to my being lazy.
Do you know how much
really.
time you're wasting unbagging each of those 6 issues as you read them back to back to back? As opposed to just, hey, I have
5
it all down
seconds? Like, I'm wasting 5 seconds?
What about the possible damage to the book as you remove them from their sleeves and put them back? Tape issues?
No.
Tape
It's
issues?
the resealables, right? When you take a comic out, you remove it with the board 3/4 of the way, and then you take your comic out, you read it, the board remains out for the comic then to be touched in and go back in the rest 3/4 of the way, sealed up, delightful.
Well, then I guess I'll be sticking with trades then.
Yeah, right.
Oh, speaking of which, I almost forgot.
That's what I was trying to tell you earlier!
So a couple months ago, you said on the show that your lovely wife bought you a stack of number 1s for, I think it was Christmas or your birthday
Yeah,
or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
One of which was the Valiant number 1.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Jay,
Oh, jeez.
if you wanted to continue the story, I purchased you the Valiant trade. This is for you, buddy.
Nice, thank you.
You're very welcome.
All right. You were hinting at that earlier.
Yeah, so...
Yeah.
All right, I will get to my list real fast. The first thing on my list is Wonder Woman, Earth 1, Volume 1, written by Grant Morrison and art by Yannick Paquette. Inks by Nathan Fairbairn. I gotta be honest with you, I'm not excited for it. Paquette's art's good. Morrison's writing's not.
Sure.
But I did flip through it. And obviously, since I flipped through and didn't actually read it, I may be wrong in this. But the book starts with her killing Hercules to set free all the Amazonians he had enslaved. And then she wears his, lion's mane for the rest of the book. The flying jet just... Jay, I'll show you if I can find a page of it. Also, they have, ray gun technology on Themyscira.
So wait, you're trying to find a page where they show the invisible jet?
There you go. There it is.
No, fuck that. No.
And the Amazons also fly on those things, which look like oysters with seats attached to them.
I think we've seen that before, though.
In the very last thing, the very, very last page, when she finally comes to Earth, not Earth, but the United States, man's world, the quote is... Civilization. Hola, man's world. It's time we had a talk.
That book's dead to me.
Why is she O-lying?
Exactly.
The only possible thing I can think of
Is she had to traverse through Central America to get there?
is possibly when she first encountered Steve Trevor, he didn't know what language she spoke, and he said hola to her. Maybe that might be the saving grace.
It could be a terrible callback.
But even when Steve Trevor talks, they have the markings as if he doesn't speak English. So there you go. So Steve Trevor talks, and it has the... So obviously the first thing he says is not... But she speaks without the indentations. I'll show you. See how he has the language indentations?
So the implication is that this is her first speaking a civilized tongue. So she may be saying hola because she thinks that is a word that's not just... people who speak Spanish use, but that everybody in civilization uses. That's okay.
Yeah. But he never...
It's not great.
The problem is, though, as I look through it, he never said hola.
Oh. Wow.
So...
All the Earth 1 stuff falls flat with me. I don't know about you guys, especially Batman.
Batman
which doesn't just fall flat. I think it's terrible.
Batman was very bad. I think it's some of Jeff Johns' worst work. I thought Batman Earth 1 was very bad. I enjoyed Superman Earth 1 quite immensely, though.
I think it's okay. I still think that the 52 reboot did a better job as far as introducing Superman again. My main gripe with Batman Year One is how can you reintroduce a character supposedly starting in modern times, like what if Bruce Wayne's parents were killed yesterday, whatever, and have the costume look more aged now than it did back then. He looks like Grandpa's Batman.
And it was hanging off him. It didn't fit well.
Yeah, it may as well be blue and gray. It's that bad.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Alfred felt really, really did not like Alfred in that book.
Yeah, that's the one where former super spy, and he's like I don't even think he's British. Isn't he like Irish or something?
Even in the cane, like he's got a cane, but he's still kicking ass. And no, bad.
It's not very good.
For my pull list this week, I got Batman Beyond 11, Detective Comics 51, Green Lantern 51 with a Ramita cover for you.
Ooh.
Superman 51 with a Ramita cover for you.
Those aren't doing it for me.
I told you, his Ramita covers are really bad. Like, his Batman one, it's Batman with an Uzi. It's ridiculous.
It's almost like he doesn't know how to draw a cover without the Marvel logo on it.
Superman 3, The Coming of Superman. Black Panther #1. Invincible Iron Man 7. Poe Dameron #1. Uncanny X-Men 6. Archie 7. Empress #1, which I'm super looking forward to. I'm surprised you did not get Grizzly Shark by Ryan Otley.
Look at his eyes light up.
I'm just intrigued by the name. So Ryan Otley's writing it, though?
Writing and drawing it, I believe.
Well, no. Since he was just the colors, yeah.
I'll let you. And Justice League: The Dark Side War Special. Oh my god.
This is the worst Otley artwork I've ever seen.
It may not be Otley. It's all based off of his webcomic.
So is this the labor of love that he left Invincible for?
Well, Invincible's just on hold, but yeah.
Okay.
Story, art, and letters, Ryan Otley.
There you go.
Maybe he's drawing with his left hand.
I'm so looking forward to reading it, though, man. So I read Justice League: The Dark Side War Special #1. It's essentially just the story of Grail, the daughter of Darkseid, and with a Themysciran, how she came to be in power that she is, and why she's working with the Anti-Monitor. To understand anything that's going on here, you have to read The Dark Side War. It also talks about Jessica, the woman who is Power Ring, who we now know is going to be the new Green Lantern come Rebirth. And she's going inside the ring to try to find the power source to no longer it be the way it has been. And at the end, you find out she's been helped by Cyborg. So the book serves two purposes. One, to introduce you to Grail and to really get to know her, who's a badass character. Imagine a woman raised as a Themysciran by a Themysciran assassin was her mother's job. Was the Themysciran assassin. She felt that they have gone away from their original cause and is trying to stick true to what they really believe. With that said, she's trying to raise Grail knowing she's the daughter of Darkseid to be good, not use her Omega beams to try to help people. And all
honey, it's an Omega beam today, okay?
Well, and so that's and like it goes into that. Like she was a baby and killed a bunch of men. And like so the mom was afraid while she slept that Grail would lose control because she woke up a couple times and Grail was looking at her. Her eyes were glowing red, and the mom would hug her and calm her down, and she'd go back to normal. So like a griffin owed her a favor, so the griffin protected her while she slept and stuff. So like there is that struggle between being a mother and raising the daughter of a evil god. Mm-hmm. And then so to destroy Darkseid, she teams up with Mobius, the anti-life, to try to destroy it. So it's actually really well done. The art in it's beautiful. Ivan Reis does the art. Jeff Johns wrote it. I felt like the Power Ring part, however, was just thrown in to try to explain how she's going to no longer be Power Ring to become Green Lantern, and that one fell for me. Overall, that was a lot of fun, and I've been loving the Dark Side War.
Okay.
So that is it for me.
That's it for me. I got nothing.
I think I'm all right.
That's it for this week. We'll be back next week to discuss more things and some Comic-Con review. Thank you again for joining us, Frugal Brutal.
Thank you for having me very much, guys.
It'll be fun going through the show with you.
Yes, it's going to be great.
Take care, guys.
See you.